The sun dipped low over Crestwood, a small town nestled in the humid heart of the southeastern United States, casting long shadows across Highway 17. Malik Thompson, a 38-year-old cybersecurity consultant, guided his black sedan through the quiet stretch, the hum of the engine a steady companion. His tailored suit was crisp despite the long drive, and a leather briefcase sat on the passenger seat, filled with notes for the Atlanta conference he was set to attend. Malik's mind drifted between his upcoming presentation and a text from his wife Aisha. "Drive safe, love. Jaden's counting on you for his game." A smile tugged at his lips, picturing his teenage son's grin, but it faded as red and blue lights flashed in his rearview mirror. Malik's stomach tightened, a familiar dread settling in. He'd been here before, not in Crestwood, but in moments where his blackness seemed to invite suspicion. He eased the car to the shoulder, hands instinctively at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. Stay calm, stay sharp, he thought, a mantra honed over years of navigating a world that often saw him as a threat first. He glanced at the dashboard clock, 6:45 p.m., May 20th, 2025, and took a deep breath, preparing for whatever came next. Thirteen. Police cruiser's door opened, and Officer Daniel Hargrove stepped out, his boots crunching on gravel. Hargrove, 45, carried the weight of a man worn by years of wielding authority, his broad frame and stern face projecting control. His hand rested on his holster, a gesture Malik recognized as more threat than necessity. As Hargrove approached, his eyes scanned the car, lingering on the briefcase, the suit, as if they didn't fit the man behind the wheel. "License and registration," Hargrove said, his voice sharp, leaning toward the open window. Malik kept, his movements slow, deliberate. "Officer, I'm reaching for my wallet now," he said, his tone calm but firm, forged from his days as an Army intelligence officer. He handed over his license and registration, retrieved from the glove compartment. "May I ask why I was stopped?" Hargrove's eyes narrowed, his lips curling slightly. "You were swerving back there, looked suspicious. Where you headed?" Malik knew he hadn't swerved. His driving was meticulous, a habit from military training. "I'm going to a cybersecurity conference in Atlanta," he said. "I'm a consultant," Hargrove snorted, glancing at the license. "Consultant, huh? Step out of the vehicle, Mr. Thompson." The command hit like a cold wave, but Malik stayed composed. "Officer, I'd like to know the reason." "Out. Now." Hargrove's hand moved to his gun, unclipping the holster with a faint click that echoed in the quiet evening. Malik's pulse quickened, but he nodded, opening the door slowly. He stepped onto the gravel, his 6-foot frame slightly taller than Hargrove's, though he kept his posture non-threatening, hands visible. The highway was nearly empty, a single truck rumbling past without slowing. Malik's mind raced, drawing on years of high-stakes situations, checkpoints in war zones, interrogations under pressure. But this was different. This was home, yet it felt like hostile territory. "Hands on the hood," Hargrove ordered, his voice thick with authority. Malik complied, palms pressing against the warm metal of the car. Hargrove patted him down, his movements rough, as if expecting to find a weapon or drugs. "You got anything on you I should know about?" Hargrove asked, his tone accusatory. "No, sir," Malik replied, his voice steady but edged with resolve. "Just my phone, wallet, and work documents." Hargrove stepped back, hand still on his gun. "You seem awful calm for someone in your position." Malik met his gaze, unflinching. "I've been in worse, officer. I served in the Army, intelligence. I know how to stay calm." Hargrove's expression flickered, surprise, maybe irritation, but he pressed on. "Don't get smart with me. You people always have an excuse." The words landed like a slap, raw and deliberate. Malik's jaw tightened, but he didn't bite. Instead, he reached for his phone, moving slowly to avoid escalation. "I'm going to make a call, officer, on speaker. You can listen." Hargrove's eyes widened, his hand twitching toward his weapon. "Put that down." But Malik was already dialing, the phone ringing loudly in the tense silence. A voice answered, crisp and commanding. "Colonel Whitaker." "Colonel, it's Malik Thompson," Malik said, his voice steady, carrying a weight that made Hargrove freeze. "I'm on Highway 17 in Crestwood, pulled over by an Officer Hargrove. He's got his gun drawn, and I'd like you to clarify my status for him. A pause, then Colonel James Whitaker's voice boomed through the speaker. Officer Hargrove, this is Colonel James Whitaker, Pentagon. Malik Thompson is a former Army intelligence officer and a current contractor with my office. Explain why. You're detaining him with a weapon drawn. Hargrove's face drained of color, his hand dropping from his holster. This is a routine stop, sir. Routine? Whitaker's tone was ice. You've got a decorated veteran at gunpoint for what? I want your badge number and your supervisor's contact. Now. Hargrove stammered, his earlier bravado crumbling. Badge number 4721, sir. My supervisor is Sergeant Carter. Malik watched, his expression controlled, though a small, tight smile curved his lips. The power dynamic had shifted, and Hargrove knew it. Colonel, I'm safe for now, but I'd appreciate your guidance, Malik said. Stay put, Malik, Whitaker replied. Officer, do not escalate this. I'm contacting your department. Malik, keep me on the line if anything changes. Yes, sir, Malik said, locking eyes with Hargrove, who looked like a man watching his world unravel. Hargrove fumbled for his radio, muttering to dispatch about a misunderstanding. Malik stood straight, phone still in hand, the weight of Whitaker's voice lingering like a shield. A car slowed nearby, and Malik noticed a young woman filming from her window, her phone capturing every moment. He nodded slightly, acknowledging her, knowing this could spread fast. Minutes later, another cruiser pulled up, and Sergeant Linda Carter stepped out, her expression a mix of concern and authority. She was in her 50s, with a no-nonsense demeanor. That suggested she'd seen it all. Hargrove, stand down, she said, her voice cutting through the tension. Mr. Thompson, are you all right? I'm fine, Sergeant, Malik said, lowering his phone but keeping it on speaker. Just want to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. Carter's eyes flicked to Hargrove, then back to Malik. I'll need a full statement. Hargrove, my car. Now! As Hargrove slunk toward Carter's cruiser, Malik exhaled, the adrenaline easing. He glanced at the woman filming, who gave him a thumbs up before driving off. He knew this wasn't over. Not for him. Not for Crestwood. The video would hit social media, and questions would be asked. But for now, he'd stood his ground. Back in his car, Malik called Aisha. Babe, I'm okay, he said as soon as she answered. But you won't believe what just happened. Malik, what's wrong? Aisha's voice was sharp with worry. He recounted the stop, the gun, the call to Whitaker. Aisha listened, her silence heavy with anger and relief. You did what you had to, she said finally. Come home safe. We'll deal with this together. Malik nodded, though she couldn't see it. I will. Tell Jaden I'll make his game. As he hung up, Malik glanced at the highway stretching ahead. The lights of Crestwood faded in his rear view, but the weight of the encounter stayed with him. He'd faced down Hargrove, used his connections to shift the balance, but he knew this was one battle in a larger war. The video was out there now, and Crestwood's reckoning was just beginning.